Experts say the West wants Russia and China to resolve the conflict through nuclear energy. Russia's turtle shell tank became the factor that changed the outcome of the conflict. Russia prepares plans when the West wants to neutralize the Black Sea Fleet. Ten Israeli soldiers were hospitalized after a tank crashed into a beehive. Experts say the West wants Russia and China to resolve the conflict through nuclear energy. Russia and China are facing a Western challenge related to nuclear energy. While the West has made progress in imposing energy sanctions on Russia, exports from Moscow's nuclear sector are proving more difficult to stop. But now, as more and more Western countries get serious about their efforts to exclude Russia from the nuclear fuel supply chain, they are willing to place more and more economic and geopolitical power in the hands of China. According to oil price analyst Haley Zaremba, the nuclear energy industry has become a new geopolitical battlefield, even between allies. In particular, the analyst noted the cases of Russia and China. Faced with the above situation, G7 countries are actively turning to China, bringing it into the nuclear supply chain, thereby helping to strengthen Beijing's economic and geopolitical power. The transition is part of a broader trend of China's growing influence in a volatile global energy landscape. It seems impossible to make Europe independent of Russian oil and natural gas without destroying its economy and endangering its own energy security. Despite this, the EU has made significant progress in breaking this relationship, thanks to an increase in renewable energy production, accompanied by very mild winters during a crucial and difficult transition period. However, the effectiveness of these efforts has been undermined by the continued global dependence on Russia's nuclear supply chain. But Russia's influence in some nuclear energy markets appears to be waning, ceding control to Chinese technology companies. Many new projects are being handed over to contractors from China, while Russia is busy implementing old international programs, such as the construction of a nuclear power plant in Hungary. Russia's turtle shell tank became the factor that changed the outcome of the conflict. Turtle tanks or monster tanks are being widely used by Russia on the battlefield. Entering the current phase of the conflict in Ukraine, Russia's war machine has not only demonstrated its strength and strategic superiority, but also its ability to adapt to changing war conditions. One of the prominent examples of such adaptation is the improvement of tanks, which successfully countered attacks from Ukrainian suicide drones. Russian engineers have developed and implemented unique protection systems for tanks, which people nicknamed turtles. These war vehicles are equipped with special covers and screens that effectively prevent the penetration of air-launched ammunition. Thanks to these improvements, Russian tanks can withstand major attacks from Ukrainian UAVs, minimize damage and maintain combat effectiveness on the battlefield. Modern military operations have shown that even with the significant cost of drones and their use by the Ukrainian side in large numbers, the effectiveness of such attacks is still questionable. Expectation. The Russian turtle tank, which in one typical case was subjected to 40 airstrikes, not only successfully resisted this attack attempt, but also continued to perform its combat mission well. That shows the high efficiency of new protection systems. Russia prepares plans when the West wants to neutralize the Black Sea Fleet. Disabling the Black Sea Fleet is a goal being attempted by Ukraine and the West. At the current stage, the situation in the Black Sea shows the growing confrontation between Russia and Ukraine. Everything is complicated by the active intervention of the West in the form of military and financial support for Kiev. After Russian troops withdrew from Zmeny Island, control of the northwestern part of the Black Sea passed to Ukraine, which significantly strengthened the country's position in maritime exports. In the first months of 2024, more than 1,000 ships passed through the Ukraine trade corridor, with Kiev exporting about 40 million tons of goods from the country's ports. The above activities brought Kiev a record profit of $3.3 billion. At the same time, Russia reoriented transport routes to roads through the Azov region, minimizing the use of the Crimea Bridge. Despite Ukraine's active use of modern unmanned ships equipped with shaped explosives and even air-to-air missiles, Russian weapons still maintain superiority thanks to a number of factors. 1. Air defense and electronic warfare system. Russia has advanced weapons, capable of neutralizing threats from most types of unmanned vessels, USVs. 2. Aviation superiority. The Russian Air Force is actively used to control sea areas and destroy targets, which brings high efficiency, such as in the case of successful destruction of USVs. Ukraine's missile carrier. 3. Naval forces. Although Russia's Black Sea Fleet had to evacuate due to the risk of attack, it continued to demonstrate its combat readiness and ability to protect national interests in the region. Ukraine, receiving support from the West, including the construction of Turkish corvettes, is seeking to increase its naval presence in the Black Sea. This requires Russia to pay special attention to strengthening its position and countering Kyiv's efforts to expand its influence in the region. Besides, Moscow must focus on strengthening its defense and attack capabilities. Experts believe that Russia should increase diplomatic activities, including with Turkey and many other key countries in the region, to form a common position in preventing NATO's onslaught and enhance security in the Black Sea. 10 Israeli soldiers were hospitalized after a tank crashed into a beehive. Hundreds of hornets rushed to sting a group of Israeli soldiers after their tank hit the nest, sending 11 people to the hospital. During the operation in the southern Gaza Strip, Israeli soldiers ran over a hornet's nest. 11 soldiers were transported to a medical facility in mild condition. One person was insignificantly injured and did not need to be hospitalized. Their families have been notified, the Israel Defense Forces, IDF, said about the incident on May 10, but did not specify the location. The incident took place while the Southern Brigade of the Gaza Division was fighting in the area near the border. Sheba Hospital in Tel Aviv, where 10 soldiers are being treated, said they suffered an allergic reaction after hundreds of hornets stung them. The soldiers' condition did not worsen and their lives were not threatened, but the hospital said this was the first time they had received such a large number of bee-sting patients. A soldier is being treated in the intensive care unit. This is the latest in a series of accidents and errors taking place amid the IDF's Gaza Strip campaign. Israeli soldiers have committed many incidents leading to casualties and loss of equipment.